Hello and welcome back to SGGT. I'm Scott, I've got Aaron with me today, and we've got a special guest with us, Jack. Today we're going to run through an iron fitting, very unique in relation to everywhere else. We use 4, 6, 8 and pitching wedge to really dial in the best possible set of irons for every golfer that comes in. Jack, tell us a bit about yourself.
Thanks, Scott. I'm Jack McGill. I'm the Chief Executive of QTV, a broadcast company based in Glasgow. I'm a 12 handicapper. I've been as low as 10, play my golf at Pollock Golf Club in Glasgow. And I have an aspiration, let's call it, to get into single figures, hopefully this summer. But like most years, you know, you think this is going to be your year. It doesn't always work out that way. But hopefully with a bit of input from you guys today, we've got an opportunity to make that happen.
So we're also doing iron fitting today. Does iron play a strength or a weakness, or how does it work?
I think historically for me, it's probably been a weakness. You know, if I'm being completely honest, I think I drive a good ball, hit a good fairway wood. I would say putting is probably the key strength of my game. I save a lot of shots by putting well. But I would say over the years, I've probably found my ball striking, particularly with the mid to longer irons, to be a little bit of a weakness. So much so that last year I put the 4 and the 5 iron back in the garden shed, and I got myself a 7-wood, which my friends like to mock me by telling me that I've reached an age now where a 7-wood is the only option available to me. I love the 7-wood. I think it's a very versatile wee club. But it would be nice if I'm hitting a 4, a 5 or a 6 off the deck to really feel a sense of confidence in that shot. But I've never really investigated what the right set of irons for me is. I got fitted, a major retailer for my driver and my woods, and we talked a bit about club head, low spin head or draw bias, and we talked a bit about that. We talked a bit about shaft. I've never done that with my irons.
Brilliant. Do you want to hit some of your own 6 iron? We'll try and gather some data, work out what you do, why you hit that bad shot, and see if we can make any sense of it for you.
Okay, yeah, happy to do that. It's a bit slappy.
Okay.
What's a better one?
Good swing.
Good one.
Yeah, good hit.
There's definitely a golfer in there.
Well, it's kind of you to say. A wee bit
when you got these irons, Jack, what would your handicap have been at the time?
So it would have been higher. I think I was probably about somewhere between 15 and 18.
So they've served a purpose. You've come down.
Yeah, they absolutely did. So so my first set of irons, my first set of proper irons that I bought, I joined Eastwood Golf Club, which is now sadly gone, just on the south side of Glasgow. And I got these pings, and they instantly added certainly 10, 15, and the confidence that I gained from having, a stronger set of irons, I think undoubtedly contributed to bringing my handicap down,
Good strike.
Yeah, good strike.
You can see, as you said, that wants to favour the left-hand side, doesn't it?
Undoubtedly. Could just be my alignment. I mean, I don't know. I had a lesson a short while ago with Conor O'Neill, who's a member at Pollock. Went to, and he just identified that I was quite over the top of my head and needed to get a little bit more depth. And then as I came round, I would be less over the top as I came down. And that certainly helped, but I'm just not playing quite frequently enough to get the muscle memory right, That's a good shot. Pleased with that.
Certainly not distance that's the issue, though, is it?
No, well, it's funny. So I've no sense of my club head speed or anything like that. I don't feel like it's particularly fast, but I've obviously got long levers, which kind of offsets if it's maybe slightly slower than you would expect.
There's plenty of speed there.
That was nice.
A wee bit out 10, but that's good.
There's loads of good in there. You swing it really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit higher ball flight in that one, I think. Maybe. Don't know. You tell me.
Right, across the piece, you've hit some shots for us. I don't dislike what you do in any way, shape or form. I think the way you swing it and deliver it, if you told me that you were a single figure handicapper, I probably wouldn't question it, is the honest answer. When you get like club path, you're relatively consistent. Face angle, it varies a little bit, but it's not terrible. Attack angle's a good number and relatively consistent. There's loads of good in there.
Okay, but it feels like there's a but coming, Scott.
If you flip it from an impact location standpoint, if anything strikes high out the face, so we'll play about with that a little bit and try and work out why that is.
Okay.
And try and get more out the middle. Hopefully we can get a little bit more consistency that way. And then on the right-hand side of the screen here, what we've got is this kind of shaded area would be like an optimal ball flight. So there's a lot of variance to it, all right? So for somebody that delivers it quite nicely, if you looked at it from like an optimal number, we don't necessarily generate millions of spin.
Yeah.
And part of that isn't necessarily you, it's maybe just the golf clubs that you play. So what you've got just now, it's designed for out-and-out distance. How far can I hit it? So comes a stage at everybody's golfing game where it goes from how far can I hit it to how do I get control going into a green.
Sure. So undoubtedly one of the things that's, I think, a feature of Pollock as a golf club, quite hard to stick their greens. And I would say if I think about how I play Pollock, ball probably slightly to the front to try and get a little bit more elevation and stop it. But in the height of summer, that's a tough ask.
Difficult.
And quite often I would find, even with a pitching wedge or a 9-iron, I'm running to the back edge of the green.
Do you want to have a check what loft's on that 6-iron, Aaron?
Yeah, let's have a look. So we've got our loft and line machine in the studio, so we know exactly what's going on. Get this calibrated up. So we have a 6-iron at 27 degrees.
So it's definitely stronger out there in current market.
There we go.
I think traditionally 6-iron, 30, 31 degrees in old money. Mm-hmm. Like your old 5-iron would probably have been about the loft of your 6-iron that you've got just now, maybe even weaker. But I think the benefit of some of the stronger stuff just now is, it's like you said earlier, from at a certain handicap, there's a confidence boost. It goes further, it's easier. You're hitting less club into green. But as you're then starting to get your game a little bit better and try and sharpen it up a little bit, we're then struggling to hold green. So it's how do we get the handicap down further? We're not trying to hit in the vicinity of the green now, we're trying to hit it on the green.
Yeah. Rather
than having a chip and putt, let's try and two-putt or travel a shot at a birdie. See if we make it a bit easier for you.
Yeah, or if you're confident of hitting the green, getting it closer to the
definitely.
pin. Yeah.
Where are we starting, Aaron?
So if we go something with a wee bit of a weaker loft, I'm going to say ZX5.
Okay.
ZXi5.
So when you look at some of the shots that you hit, Jack, like from a numbers standpoint, like the numbers are actually really, really good. On average, it works out okay. From a strike location standpoint, you're relatively consistent. If anything, it's a little bit high out the face. Like, it doesn't need to be as long as it is. We'll play about with that as well. I'm going to start off at just an inch long and see what that looks like for you.
In terms of the shaft length.
Yeah.
So what would the effect be of me coming slightly further down? I mean, I'm obviously holding that pretty much at the end.
We're probably asked this every day, and you tend to find that somebody, see, when they hold it in a place, that's where they're comfy holding it. Like, we've had it before that you get guys in that are really short and they grip down.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you make them short golf clubs and they come back a month later and they're just gripping down on the short one.
Yeah.
It's just where they're used to holding the golf club.
Okay.
So I think if you could get used to changing, yes, maybe, but in reality, if we could just get a club maybe better suited for you, there's more of a chance.
I think sometimes being tall and reaching a certain, I mean, I'm in my mid-40s now, but I'm just conscious as I get older, you know, if I'm thinking about a set of golf clubs for the next 5 years, what happens over those 5 years if I'm starting to stiffen up?
Aye.
And I suppose that's probably part of that, you know, being slightly more upright and being slightly further up the...
Aye, we'll play about with it.
Let's have a look. Yeah.
Right, Aaron, let's do this.
Okay.
So Strixon ZXi5 to begin with. Shaft's slightly heavier than your current one.
Yeah.
DG Mid 115 S300. And we're an inch long as opposed to your inch and a quarter.
So what impact does the weight of the shaft have for somebody like me? What should I be feeling that's different?
I don't know that there's a right and a wrong to begin with. I think some golfers react better to heavy. Some guys really like light. There will be rights and wrongs, but see, without trying it, I couldn't say for sure that this is going to work or that isn't going to work. We'll try some different weights and see how we get on to begin with and go from there.
Can definitely feel the difference in the weight of the club. Oh.
Initially, how does the head look behind the ball? The head, how does it look?
It looks leaner in its profile.
Is that intimidating?
A little bit.
Okay.
Little bit. It definitely, it looks like a blade from the top. I know it's not, but it looks, it definitely looks a bit leaner in its profile. Oh wow, that felt good though.
Nice strike. We get two kinds of golfers through the door. Some golfers are determined they want the smallest looking golf clubs there is, and then the other guys, and you give them something small, they look at you like you're mad. But
I'm probably a happy medium.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not the former.
Okay.
Golf shot there.
So you have to feel a confidence in what you're looking at. Like, this is a club that I can hit a ball with. Do you know what I mean?
After a couple of shots there, does it feel noticeably shorter? If we hadn't told you it was short, would you be able to tell us?
Probably not.
Okay.
That felt a little bit toey.
Okay.
But that's quite forgiving.
Yeah, we got away with it.
Got away with it.
We'll certainly hit worse shots than that one.
That's a bit slappy, but again, I got away with it a little bit. Baby fade. That's left. That was actually a better contact, but it was...
Okay. So initially, Jack, just from a kind of strike location standpoint and what's changed to start with, even if we took head and shaft out the equation and just went more shaft length, that strike location, one versus others, came down the face a little bit. To begin with, 7 millimetres high at the top of the face. We're now is 2, so we've certainly brought that down.
And that should help with spin rate.
Should help with consistency more than anything.
Okay.
Spin rate we're going to get to next. That'll be our next bit.
That's better. I suspect, I might be wrong, that felt like the best one.
It's a proper golf shot.
Yeah, that felt like the best one.
Right, Aaron, let's get us ahead with some more loft on it again. Let's see what happens.
Where are you thinking of going?
Do we go more forgiveness? Do we go like a P770? Do we go a hot metal high launch? Do we go big? Do we go small? Let's try them both in whatever order you fancy. Maybe two different kinds of heads either end of the scale here.
Okay.
Something's going to be on paper less forgiving, but it's going to have more loft on it. So it's giving you more loft and more flight doesn't make the bad one better.
Yeah.
Or do you need the extra forgiveness of the head to make it more forgiving for you?
Okay.
Right, Aaron, what's next? What we got?
We're going to go P770 first. I've got the Mizuno hot metal high launch in there for a different size of golf club. But I'm interested to see what 770 does for you.
Okay.
First of all.
So this is the tailor-made.
Yeah. What should 770 do, Aaron? What is the difference between that and what we've just tried?
It should go a little bit higher. That's kind of what we want to see. If we can get that peak height up a little bit, get that descent angle that we spoke about, landing a little bit softer, that's the impact we want to have.
Initially, how does it look?
I think it's a really good looking club.
Okay.
I mean, again, doesn't feel like a big club head in front of it. Doesn't, it feels quite sleek.
Okay.
The club definitely turned in my hands there on that shot. Again, though, I got away with it. It was a little bit fat, but wow, that's high.
That's what it should look like.
Wow.
Good swing.
I mean, it's leaked a bit. I don't mind that, but like the difference in the apex of the
See that one that
shot was unbelievable.
The one that you get that's short and right doesn't really ever get in any bother, whereas your long left, you're chipping over bunkers and out of trees and whatever else.
Don't I know it?
I'd far rather if we could make your bad shot a weak right rather than a long left. You're just pitching up the length of the green from there. You've got to have a chance.
Oh,
Best reaction so far?
You almost sounded like you enjoyed that there.
I did.
Are you okay?
I did.
95 feet, land angle there, 46 degrees. That's not moving very far when it lands.
I'm feeling slightly flushed after that shot. So how does that compare to my own set of irons?
So even just from like a number standpoint, I think the first one you thinned, you can have the benefit of the doubt with there. From a number standpoint alone, what you find is your own one, there's your warm-up, we'll make that disappear for you. 85 mile an hour club head speed, average ball speed of 119.5, give or take 6 miles an hour. We're now at 122, give or take 2 miles an hour. So a little bit more consistent. We've only had 2 shots, mind you, but spin rate, your own on average, 4,100. We're now at almost 4,800. Peak height, 80 feet is up to 98 feet.
Yeah.
Land angle, 41 degrees is up to 46.5.
Yeah.
So you've not sacrificed any carry number or anything. Like, you're still getting at the same kind of yardage, but you've gained stopping power.
My 6 iron, probably, like, just all things being equal, 175, 180.
176 carry is what you've got on earlier. Yeah, you're pretty close with your numbers.
Okay. Yeah. It's a bit leaky, but that's still.
It's one of those we can live with, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I want to make a YouTube video on this eventually, and I've joked that I want to call it Blades versus Spades, and it's does making the golf club bigger actually make it better. So many golfers have got game improvement golf clubs, but the good shot's never actually technically a good shot. It's never high enough. It's never got enough stopping power. So if the good one's never going to be high enough, the bad one's only going to be lower.
Yeah.
So whereas if you played something that was less forgiving, at least the good shots are then great.
Yes.
The bad one, if the good one's high, the bad one can still come down a bit and still be okay.
Is the short way of saying that you're only cheating yourself if you're using those clubs? Yeah. Sound like my mother. I mean, that didn't feel like a great shot, but that's not a bad result for not a great shot.
Strike versus outcome there is still sensible, isn't it?
So see, when you look at your own club, all right, when you talk about launch and spin on average, 16 launch, 4,100 spin, that there launched just under 17 and spun at 4,400 on a bad one. Carry was still 170, so the drop-off isn't anywhere near as big because there's still enough spin to hold the ball up in the sky for you.
That felt better. Kept down on that a wee bit more.
So from a dispersion standpoint, Jack, what we've got in the yellow circle is your own golf club.
Yeah.
And in the red circle is where we're at just now. So the good shots and bad shots have just become so much closer to one another.
Yeah.
And that shot that you hit left, see when the ball starts moving to the left-hand side, if there's no spin on the ball, there's nothing to hold it up in the sky.
Yeah.
So it then starts falling at the sky and the left gets worse again.
Yeah.
It's so much better. Really, really good.
Yeah. Nice.
Should we try something a bit more forgiving, Aaron, and see what it actually does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do one more on this.
Excellent.
That was clean.
Just to give you a breather, Jack.
Quite enjoying that.
Right, Aaron, what we got?
So we're going to go hot metal high launch, a little bit bigger in the club head. Loft is a touch stronger,
Thanks, Anne.
but still something there that we want to try and usher the ball up the way.
This is the Mizuno.
This is the Mizuno.
That's a much bigger sole on that.
Similar to what you currently play. So this is effectively the same size as what you already play.
Yes.
But with more loft on it.
It's shape. I mean, the shape of the face, the shape of the sole's probably even possibly even bigger than the one I play, but it's more familiar looking, I would say, than the first two that we've just tried there.
Let's get half a dozen. Let's see what kind of numbers it produces and how it feels. That was a nice strike.
A little bit right. That's a better one.
Yeah, good swing.
Jack, you're swinging brilliant. Nothing stopping that handicap coming down. That's in the short game yet, mind you.
We'll talk about that in a minute, chaps, shall we?
See that one there? That's prime example of what we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
That is an amazing strike.
Yeah.
Land angle's back down to 843 and a bit degrees. Spin rate's back down to 4,200. So the properties of an iron that's more game improvement orientated
Yes.
is how do we make it go further?
Yeah.
And it's how do we get you out of that now? I want to put you into something that you're a good enough ball striker. You've proved it to us. You don't have to play something like this
Yeah.
unless you really, really want to, but I don't see any benefit.
The way I like to describe it to people is that there's two ways you can get forgiveness on an iron. You can go size, but inherently the bigger golf clubs have stronger lofts. And the other way of getting forgiveness is loft.
Yeah.
And for you, that extra bit of loft is going to be your friend. That 770 was...
See, over 3 shots, Jack, even when you start to look at dispersion, 4 shots, it's like a firework going off. You've had your long left has crept back in. So in actual fact, it goes back to my previous YouTube video,
Yes.
blades versus spades, the smaller one's actually more consistent for you because there's enough spin and things that you don't get this horrible long left shot.
Sure.
Shall we try something like an Apex
I
Pro?
was just thinking Apex Pro, to be honest.
Do you think club golfers underestimate the value of spending time doing this?
Massively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people bought into the internet, and if you bought the internet and you typed in all your things and it says what do you need,
Yeah.
you just buy another set of game improvement irons, and the reality is it's probably actually hindering you more than it's helping you.
Yeah. I do always think, if you think about a set of irons, I've had that set of Ping G series irons for over 10 years. So they were what, 800, 900 quid when I bought them, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the equivalent of hiring a set of clubs for less than £10 a month.
I see. In terms of what you have, I don't think they're bad by any stretch. You've
No.
almost just outgrown them.
Just outgrown them.
They've served their purpose.
That's a nice thing. They definitely did serve their purpose at the time, without a doubt.
What have we got now, Aaron?
So what
in
we
there?
got?
So Apex Pro, similar kind of properties to that 770.
Yep.
Exactly the same shaft again. It's still that 115. Just want to see how this flies.
So that was a bit slappy, but I've got away with that one a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a great shot, is
Not a
it? It's
great
not
shot.
terrible, but there's certain times you give a golfer something it just doesn't work, and it's not necessarily for any rhyme or reason. It's not overly different, this head from a P770. P770 head straight out the car was amazing for you.
Yes.
This head's maybe not so clever.
I don't get the same feel out of it, I'm not going to lie. That was better. It still felt slightly thin.
Yeah.
It didn't, like that felt like a much cleaner strike, but it still felt slightly thin. I don't know if that's fair.
It's a little bit lower launching and lower spinning than the TaylorMade equivalent. And you
Yeah.
can see that initially. It's definitely flatter on a good strike. Yeah, number's nowhere near as hot.
Feels much closer to my existing
Okay.
club in terms of
Trajectory.
trajectory.
Yeah.
Felt thinner than the 770.
Okay. I like the idea. T200, Titleist?
Yeah,
Try it?
Yeah. Let's
Give it a
have
go.
look at this.
Titleist T200. So hollow head construction, the same as the TaylorMade P770 that was working really well for you. A hair stronger in loft, but similar size and profile, and the weight is really deep in the head to help pop the ball up in the sky for you. That's a nice iron. I think you'll like this one.
There you go.
That was nice.
So that felt good.
okay.
Felt a lower trajectory than the 770.
Yeah. And you're spot on straight away.
Big distance though.
You don't necessarily need TrackMan to tell you that either. You can see that
Feel it?
straight away.
Yeah. Open my stance a wee bit. A wee touch left, but nice strike. It's okay.
So strike again's good. How does the shaft feel?
I suppose to some extent I'm still getting used to the fact that everything feels a bit heavier than
What you're used to playing?
what I'm used to playing. Have you changed you haven't changed the shaft, have you?
No.
Yeah. We've kept it the same. We're just comparing apples for apples initially.
Yeah.
Just changing one variable at a time. Once you've hit a few of this, what we'll do is we'll put a lighter shaft and then see how it feels going back down in weight.
Okay. Yeah, put it back in my stance and then leak it right.
That almost looked like a conscious effort.
Yeah, to over.
left.
Yeah, it was.
That's when this becomes difficult. I'd almost encourage you to keep being you.
Yeah,
and
so-
we'll make it work for you rather than you trying to make you work for the golf club.
Okay.
Yeah. Give us that back.
Yeah.
Really fast off the face, which is great, but not what we're trying to achieve for you.
Okay.
Right, Aaron, what are we on this time?
So we're going to go back into the 770 head.
That was
And
working really well, wasn't it?
it
Like
was, yeah. And just as we were talking about weight there, so it's the same, from the same range.
Okay.
that Dynamic Gold mid, but we're going into 100 grams. Still keeping it the S300.
So we're about 115 to start with, Jack, just for kind of reference.
It's a bit lighter.
So this is closer to the weight of your current shafts.
I mean, the
There's that ball
difference
flight
in
back.
ball flight is
This head's cracking, isn't it?
just instantly noticeable.
So there's
Even, I mean, that one was a bit left, obviously, but
See, even for a left though, it still spins at 4,700.
so it's not going to dive off into,
No, it's not. It's left. It's not long and left though.
yes. That's the one.
Excellent. Great swing.
Single figures for May, June, maybe.
If you're caddying,
time
for
is it
me,
now?
yes, that's possible.
I think I'm put around in this
You,
afternoon.
you talk me around Pollock for the spring meeting and we'll see how we go. And that was a bad one.
And even that as a miss, it's
Yes.
That's that one we spoke about before.
Yes.
It's on the front right hand side of the green. You can have
Yeah.
2 putts and pretend it never really happened. How does it feel being that little bit lighter?
I don't know if I could say better or worse.
Okay.
more familiar maybe.
More familiar. Yes, that's a good way of putting it. More familiar.
When you start making a shaft as long as an inch long, that 100 grams isn't really 100. It's on the heavy end of it anyway.
Oh, that felt good.
So good.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best one I've hit today. Might be. Close anyway.
104 feet, land angle 47 degrees, carry 184.
Yeah.
It's up there.
That felt, yeah, it's up there. Yeah. That felt like the best of the day.
Life in the old dog, yeah.
Steady on. Yeah, that's a bad one again, but it's not that bad. Felt just a little bit turn in the. Yeah, really like that.
When you look at that from like an optimal ball flight, Jack, it's really, really strong. It's really consistent within those lines that we spoke about to begin with.
Yeah.
From a strike location, I know you didn't quite catch that last one there. They've definitely been low at the face and a little bit less consistent than the heavier one was, for whatever reason. And another thing we'd look at when we're fitting would be swing weight. Aaron's just going to go and check just now next door what swing weight that is just now.
This.
So it's effectively a balance point. So what we're finding when we went into that lighter weight shaft, strike location's a lot less consistent than when you were in the slightly heavier one.
Okay.
And is it because of shaft weight or is it because of swing weight? So we'll check what the swing weight was, and if we need to alter it, we'll try it again and we'll go from there for you.
Okay.
Swing weight,
go with this.
where were we at?
D6.6 is coming out at.
Okay, so swing weight's already quite heavy, so it's certainly not going to make that any heavier to help with impact location. Let's try another shaft. Where are we going to go? The feeling of heavier, what about like a KBS Tour V or something?
KBS Tour V?
110 grams.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to do with that impact point? Is this about trying to get
It out the middle as consistently as possible.
and where is mine just slightly lower? Is it so it's obviously it's come down from where we started? Was it now have we overshot the mark? Is that
It's not necessarily that you've overshot the mark. What you're now, with that lighter shaft, what you're doing is, it's probably at the right height. You just had some heels, some toes, and some middle ones. Whereas with the other one, the heavier shaft, you literally just hit the middle every time. I'll show you, there you go. So see when you hit the heavier one, from an actual bit, so the next shaft, we're almost going to split the difference. You've been 100 and 115. This next one's 110.
Okay.
A little bit more stable in the tip section, which, in hindsight, there's 2 ways this could work. It's either going to reduce spin, which is not what we want, or it's going to hold the face open a little bit better and increase spin for you.
Okay.
Until we've tried it, there's no way of knowing.
Well,
But let's give it a go, all right?
let's give it a go.
We don't actually have to start with a mulligan this time either.
Well, it was a touch slappy, but it was dead straight.
It's not a bad golf shot, is it?
I mean, I could live with that, you know.
I would say that if that's a good shot, then it's a bad shot. But if it's a bad shot, then it's a very good shot.
Similar.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the head.
Probably put a little bit more into that.
Yep.
Touch thin. I feel like I'm really hitting the back of the ball. That was very thin. Got away with it.
So making it a little bit more stable, you're struggling to get to the bottom of the ball the same way. A little bit less given the shaft. It's definitely taken the left out of the equation for you, so it's solved one problem but potentially created another.
That's the one.
So even on the one that's really good there, ball speed's down on the other shafts. It's not a bad golf shot by any stretch, but you're not getting anything near as much out of this shaft as you are out of the others.
It's interesting.
Give us that one back just now, Jack.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to this 115 grams.
Yeah.
All right, slightly different profile. We're going to use an open shaft just now.
Okay.
Slightly different and see what it does for you. Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens, Aaron.
Thank you, Neil.
So back to this weight that you felt comfortable with, Jack.
Yeah.
Slightly different profile. I really liked the first shaft, but let's just see what this does in relation to it.
Okay. Oh, slappy. I feel like I've played around the golf today. It's better.
Golf shot that.
Better strike.
Just as soon as it wants to work left on you, though. The strike itself's okay. The spin's good. The height's good. The left's not so good.
That true tempo was the happy medium, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Give me a few more balls. I suspect that my poor swing probably had more to do with it in the first few, but yeah, it does just eke left a bit.
I think we're now starting to search for something that we already had with that other shaft.
Swap us back, Aaron. Let's get back in play.
Thanking you.
Right, Jack, back to the shaft that worked well before. Numbers were really good, strike location was good, flight was good, direction was good. No pressure.
See if all of that was meaningful.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, that.
I like it in terms of flight, like that was one of your lower ones.
Yeah,
it still spun at 4.7. It's not.
There was a touch, a little touch thin, but.
If someone does have a little bit of a kind of a tendency of striking it a little bit low in the face, the TaylorMade is normally one of the first ones you reach for. It just really performs really well out of that part of the face.
That's probably the first one left.
Yeah, and even the left isn't.
And even that's not
left.
Not as far as the other ones went left.
Trackman just done something really rogue and picked it up fading back. Definitely,
I wish I could do that.
definitely never. like computer game stuff there. Sounded pure.
Yeah, nice
Yeah,
shot.
everything about that felt better.
What I want to do, I want to make swing weight a little bit lighter. So in terms of the overall weight of the golf club, it's still going to be the same shaft and length and whatever else. I just want to kind of take weight down a little fraction for you. Exactly the same golf club as we've been using.
Yeah.
What we've done is we've taken swing weight down a little bit, so effectively the weight of the head in relation to the handle.
Okay.
The head's going to feel a little bit lighter here. The shaft will still be the same weight, just it's going to be balanced out slightly differently.
Can feel it.
Really? So it'll feel like there's maybe more weight in the handle as opposed to the head this time.
Do you have an expectation of what this will do to my shot?
It's going to go 230 yards high and straight.
Well, I mean, that sounds amazing. If your game is to instill me with confidence before I hit every shot, congratulations.
I'm fishing hard for this caddying role.
Yes. Thank you. That'll do.
Gorgeous, really good.
Golf shot.
It's not quite 230, but I'll take that on any round of golf.
175, 94 peak height, almost 5,000 spin.
Nice.
Much better, really good.
Yeah, like that.
Wee bit slappy, but absolutely got away with it.
Yeah, definitely.
That felt good.
Yeah, good strike again.
We've definitely taken the left-hand side out with this.
Yeah,
that
the
weak-
left is now a rogue one rather than
Yeah.
the default bad shot.
Yeah, it's good,
Yeah.
really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, if anything, the bad one's a slightly leaky right if the face is a bit open, but
It actually looks like it's just a little bit too flat for you now. Aaron, do you want to knock it a wee degree upright and just see what happens?
Yep. Do you want me to do that one, or do you want that?
Ah, let's just put it in the loft and lie. Let's just give it a wee degree. Pretty standard just now.
Yeah, 61. Kind of
Yeah,
what I
let's get it up to
expected
62, 62 and a half. Look. Jack's a tall guy.
That moved none. There we go.
Any more upright, you'd maybe struggle for that. Eh?
62 we're at now.
Perfect.
There we go.
thank you. So this is physically changing the angle of the shaft to the head because of my height.
More impact location and where you get it and whatnot. So hopefully this is going to square you off through shaft and things will manage to stop it going left. It's now just relative that a little bit more upright.
And like magic.
Love it when a plan comes together.
Good swing as well. Can't give the club all the credit. That was a good swing. 4-7 spin.
Too modest, Aaron. Too modest.
I think you two are in competition for this caddy roll now. So that felt quite. I mean, that's slightly right. It's not hugely right. You'd be absolutely fine, but you could. That was a similar shot to the ones that were fading slightly right a minute ago.
Yeah, that's on the front right of the green. Whereas the ones previously were in the bunker.
Yeah.
So what is it you do at work, Jack?
So QTV, principally in Scotland, runs all the broadcast operations for the SPFL, so the Scottish Premiership. So we provide the coverage to the BBC and Sky of 5 of the 6 matches every week.
Right.
And the 6th game obviously is Sky's match, and they do that themselves. And we built a remote production centre in Glasgow where all of those camera feeds come into the same building, and all the directors and the replay operators and the graphics operators are all based centrally, so they don't have to travel out to all of the different clubs. And then in the same building we have the video operations room for VAR, for the SFA.
Nobody's ever admitted to that ever.
And I am, first of all, I don't have to make the decisions, right? I mean, that's somebody else's job. I'm just in charge of the cables, or my team is at least. Like, it's fantastic. It's an absolute privilege, to be able to do that, to be trusted to do that. And I think over the last four or 5 years, we've demonstrated that it was, we've demonstrated a really positive impact on football. It's helped the clubs do more with their club TV channels. It's helped the league sell coverage internationally. Yeah, it's good, but it's not the only thing that we do. We've got the base in Glasgow, and then we've got a base in Leeds from where we do Rugby Super League and Netball Super League for Sky. We've recently put an operation in place in Lausanne with World Archery, who have been one of our clients for many years. And we do a lot of international federation work, so we work with cycling and cycling and rugby, curling, netball, badminton. Probably, I would say over the last 15 years, we've probably covered 40 different sports.
See, when we've moved that swing weight that little bit lighter, strike location's got worse. I'm just going to move the swing weight back up to where it was.
Okay.
Just to see
Might just be because I'm talking a lot as well, Scott, and I'm not concentrating.
Even over the last piece, though, it's moved a fair bit. I just want to see if putting the other shaft or back to where we were from the swing weight standpoint, does it enable us to hit more of the middle of the face?
Okay.
You're going to have bits like that in the golf course where you don't concentrate and whatever else. And
yeah.
Let's just see what it does from an impact standpoint.
There we are.
What we're after here is strike location. What happens? We're back to the slightly heavier swing weight that worked really well before.
Yeah.
Do we now hit the middle of the face again?
Okay. Might learn a bit more from that one.
So it's turned over a hair, but you can hear it's a hair on the toe, but the height's better in terms of where we're trying to hit it out the face.
Yeah.
Spin 4,800. Good, really good.
Oh, thin.
So D5 would be perceived as quite a heavy swing weight in the grand scheme of things, but an inch long, it's not. Effectively, you're moving that mass so far away from your body. Sounded good. Should we give you a break from 6 irons and try some wedges?
Please.
So wedge is more about, do we like the look of it? Do we like the feel of it? From a number standpoint, yes, it's relatively important, but it's going to look half the size of your current wedge. We just need to make sure you like it more than anything.
Okay.
Right, so tell me P770 pitching wedge.
Yeah.
Same inch long.
Yeah. Bang in the middle of the stance.
Yeah, if that's where you're comfy. I think the one thing we'll try and do is we'll avoid coaching at all costs.
Quite a neutral shot, though. We're not trying.
I don't know, nothing fancy. Just you hit me a stock pitching wedge. Sounded nice.
Yeah, lovely flight.
Feels what, about 130?
120.
Oh, that's a wee bit short. Didn't put a lot into that, to be fair.
So I think the other thing is you need to remember that we're slackening the wedge off in terms of loft. So where you'll notice that's where you're going to notice distances more. You may lose a little bit. What you'd expect to see a little bit more in modern clubs is the gaps probably aren't going to be 10 yards between them. You probably find there's 12 yards between them and it opens up a little bit more.
A little bit more into that.
Yeah, a bit quicker.
How does it feel?
It feels good. I mean, I don't think I suppose the shorter the club, the less you're likely to notice the difference. I'm quite enjoying the weight. Quite enjoying that it feels a wee bit heavier than my normal clubs, because I think with those shorter clubs, you want to, psychologically, you want to feel the weight of the club coming down in the back of the ball, so you're popping it up, you know? That was turned in my hand.
When you look at it from like a numbers standpoint and where we're at, 6 iron peaks at 86 feet.
Yeah.
Wedge, the one that you've really got, again, 85 feet, so similar kind of peak height. Wedge and 6 iron now, so you've got a set that runs in a line, as opposed to having a pitching wedge that goes high and then everything just progressively getting lower.
Gets lower, yeah.
Which is why you then struggle with those longer irons.
That's a better strike. That's
probably
the best one yet.
So again, we'd expect 89 feet. So it's that kind of number again.
Yeah.
Trackman lost a little bit of spin there, but yeah, it's not bad by any stretch.
I would say, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, I do feel almost off the edge of the grip though.
Let's go and add another wee fraction of length to it and just see if it makes it that little bit comfier. I think just because 6 is going to be an inch long doesn't mean that wedge has to be. Yeah. Often for a guy that's tall, the longer irons don't necessarily.
So I think I said before we started today that the inch and a quarter, even the inch and a quarter of my pitching wedge, I feel like I'm just at my height. I feel like I really have to focus so hard on staying knees bent over the ball.
We had a guy last week, very similar concept to yourself. and that we didn't actually need as much length in the longer ones. I'm sure we made them half an inch.
Yeah.
Every time we were down at the bottom. So between all your clubs, there's like half-inch increments.
Yeah.
So what we done is from wedge to 9, we played quarter, and 9 to 8, we played quarter.
Interesting.
So that we made the shorter ones long,
Yes.
but then the other ones didn't need to be long for the sake of making them long, so we could taper them in a little bit better
Yeah.
for you as well. Right, Jack, wedge, 1.5 inches long, so actually longer than your current wedge, but shorter than the rest of the stuff. And this is more, there's got to be comfort, especially in that shorter iron. It's how does it feel? Hit a few shots, let's see how it feels. Good shot. Very good.
Definitely feel a bit more upright. That was decent.
Yeah.
It's good again. Strike's better.
Yeah.
You see there's a jump in ball speed because that strike's got a little bit better for you.
I definitely felt hitting down in the back of that a bit better.
Oh, you've leaked that one to the right, but it's good.
Yeah.
So it's so what we're going to need to do, because we build it in house, we're able to do it.
Yeah.
Like the half-inch increments that you would have throughout your set, when it gets to 8 iron, we're going to turn them into quarter inches, just so the 9 iron plays like almost an extra quarter than everything else, and then the wedge will be like a half an inch longer than everything else as well.
Sure.
Which will then give you that little bit of comfort in the bottom end of your bag.
That's good.
You're actually hitting the middle of the face more now as well, so distances jump back up.
Oh, that tried a bit hard with that one. Just relax. Relax. That's better.
Good.
Yeah, good swing.
Should we hit some 8 irons, Aaron?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just make sure it runs in a line for us. So 8 irons back to 1 inch long, as opposed to a little bit longer. So does this feel comfy enough, or do we need to extend the little bit longer down as far as the 8 iron?
Sure. Oh. That wasn't a good shot.
There comes a point with everybody that tiredness starts to creep in. It's a lot of golf balls.
It's a better strike. Touch thin, but it's okay.
Yeah, we certainly wouldn't want it back on the golf course.
No. Rubbish. That's better. That's the best one.
It's a good shot.
Yeah, better tempo. Good.
How does it feel lengthwise?
I think a little bit like the pitching wedge first time. I feel like I could do with being
A wee bit.
just a fraction upright. I feel like I really have to focus on staying down. I mean, you have to focus on that anyway. I do understand that, but
More conscious with this.
more conscious.
Should we try it? Give us it just now. We're going to put a wee plug in the end of it, and let's rule it out if nothing else.
Okay.
I'd far rather we tried it than we said. This afternoon, I wish we'd tried that. Right, 8 iron, 1.5 inches long. Does it help you get to the bottom of the ball, and does it feel a little bit comfier on your back?
Okay, let's find out.
Sounded good.
I mean, instinctively on the basis of one shot alone, I'd say yes. So how much did you put in this, Aaron?
Half an inch over.
Yeah, just another half inch.
Another
just to
half
see.
inch.
Still looks okay.
It's good, isn't it?
These are a touch right, but that's better than the...
Does it feel comfier?
It does, yeah, it does.
Again,
It just feels like a more natural stance. I don't feel quite as conscious of
peak
being
height.
down.
Peak height's back to that mid-80s in terms of height as well. It runs in a line with everyone else. Mid to high 80s, 90 feet, that last one. It's good.
Yeah.
Much better. Really good.
That's a good one.
Sounded amazing.
So we'll do 1/4 inch increments from 7.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to start from 7 iron, and you'll go from 1/2 inch increments to 1/4 inch. just so the bottom ones play that little bit longer for you.
Where we set the 6-iron before.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good. It's really good. We'll hit some 4-irons. I know you've not had 4-iron, but I think 7-wood's always going to be a better option than your 4-iron, but I think what it's going to show you is that you can certainly play 5-iron. That's not going to be an issue now. I'm more than confident with that.
Yes.
The extra
So
spin.
it's interesting, the 7-wood's interesting because depending on how far down the grip I go, I can probably vary my distance with that 7-wood from about 180 to 220.
Okay.
But I'm way more confident with it when I'm hitting a full swing, using the full range of the club. So anything over 200, I feel totally confident.
So 6-iron, we're averaging 178 carry. So on the base, we're going to have about 12 yards. I'm thinking we're going to get 5-iron to about 190 carry, which would run you into your 200-yard carry with your 7-wood quite nicely anyway. So as a naturally, you spin it on the low side anyway, so 4-iron's always going to be difficult. But let's see what it does.
Oh, that's awful. That is a classic bad long iron for me.
Yeah, just flat.
That is the classic bad long iron. I did it there. That's better.
There's a nice strike.
Touch left, but it's okay.
So when you start to look at those peak heights of running them all in a line, what you see is 75 feet. So it drops off 10 feet from everything else, which is why the bad one's always going to be worse.
That's better.
So can you hit it? Yes.
Agreed.
Does it go high enough for what we want it to do? I would say the answer to that's probably no.
Okay.
So
that's quite a low ball flight still.
Yeah. So Buzzword, if you played nothing but links golf, you could have one, right? But if we talk about what we speak about in iron fittings as longest playable iron, and it's where it runs as part of a set before you'd have to chop and change something.
Interesting. Yeah.
And this has got to a point that's just went a little bit too flat for what we're trying to do.
Okay.
So the strike itself is great.
Yeah.
So the other way you could do is you could put more like a driving iron head on it that would maybe pop it up in the air a little bit more.
Okay.
Go give us one more. I'm going to put a head on it, maybe launch it a little bit higher for us.
Okay. I mean, that is as well as I can hit a 4-iron.
So the strike itself, when you look at the last 4 or 5 that you've hit, from an impact location standpoint, like the flight itself, other than being on the flat side, like you're banging 4-iron out the middle. So I think from a setup standpoint, we're really, really good.
Yes.
And if you played nothing but links golf, I'd say that that's probably quite a valuable tool.
Yeah.
But on the basis of round Pollock or whatnot, it's not going to give you any stopping power at all.
So what are we doing here?
So this is TaylorMade's P7 UDHY.
Okay.
A little bit of a wider sole, lower centre of gravity. Still 22 degrees of loft.
So the same loft as the 4-iron I've just used.
Yeah. We just want it to try and chuck it up in the air a little bit more.
That got more elevation. That's a better strike.
How does it look behind the ball?
It's nice. Feels good.
We're going to put a slightly different head on. It's got a little bit more loft just to give us a bit more flight. This is giving us distance in abundance. We almost want to try and lose some of the distance and gain some ball flight.
It's coming out hot, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would this tell you? I mean, if we're done TaylorMade 770s all the way through, what would this tell you about what I need from that range?
It's almost like TaylorMade don't do a 4-iron that goes high enough for you.
Okay.
And that's what, unless I was going to put like a random driving iron in, I would keep it to one brand. I wouldn't have random irons, but the fact that a driving iron is slightly different, this will actually launch it up in the sky. So Strixon driving iron, a little bit higher launching than the other one.
Yeah. That's much the same. So I would say this is fairly typical of me, which is one of the reasons that the 4 and the 5 went back in the garden shed. That's got much more height.
It's not necessarily a great strike, but you can see it wanting to go in the sky initially.
A little bit open. That's a better strike.
So this is the opposite, it's then not far enough in relation to what we want it to do. Go and hit me a couple with your 7 wood and just show me how far it goes.
I didn't even see that.
High and straight. Wasn't your best strike, but that's where the fairway wood comes into its own. That the bad one is still a good golf shot.
That's a bit left. That's odd. I don't normally do that with this. Let me see if I can straighten myself out.
Good. Really good.
Take 2 more and finish these, and then you can...
Yeah, so 200 yard carry, that marries in really nicely with a 5 iron.
Yeah.
And see, when you look at that from a trajectory standpoint, at 79 feet, it actually runs in line as well.
Yeah.
I actually don't see a need for you to play 4 iron.
That's drilled, that one.
So when you have a bad one with this, it still goes where you want it to go within reason, whereas the iron becomes tricky.
Yes, that would be my feedback as well, definitely.
See, if you were hitting a 7 wood, right, and it was peaking at 120 feet and the irons were peaking at 80, I would say there's maybe mileage in having an iron that you could chop and change. But the fact that this thing kind of runs in a line with everything else you're doing, I'd almost talk you out of it and say play 5 to wedge. Don't make it any more complicated than it has to be.
Yeah,
I'd agree. We'd basically be looking for a 4 iron to do exactly what that chap does.
yeah.
And I think in time you'd find that you're more confident with this anyway, and you'd just go back to what you were before.
There's a degree to which I feel sometimes I can just lash this. And what's the worst that can happen? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Aye, no, I'm into that. Keep that. Leave that alone.
Yeah.
Start the irons at 5.
Yeah, okay.
What about grips, Jack? Is there something you like?
I've never really thought about it, to be honest. I usually have a couple of tape rounds underneath.
Okay.
I don't like to feel like my fingers are kind of overlapping. I like a thicker grip.
Do you want to go through with Aaron just now and pick a grip?
Yeah,
and we'll just put it on the wedge and let you hit a few shots for it and just make sure it feels comfy.
Yeah, it'd be good.
So I've taken that grip on. You normally have a couple of wraps of tape.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a hair thicker. Just see how it feels. It's your only point of contact with the club. It has to feel good. Mm-hmm. How does that feel?
Yes, instantly
Right,
comfortable.
let's
go and play a couple of shots.
Let's go and hit some shots.
Yeah.
Does that feel comfy in your hands?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you certainly feel the difference.
Good.
So this is the 8 iron I've got.
Perfect.
Oh, wow.
It's more just to give you the opportunity to get a few swings with it rather than having a guess that that's what you like. Let's just make sure it still works. You're not making the clubs any worse by doing it. Instantly 1-5-6 carry, 6.5 spin. Good, proper shot.
Feels very comfortable.
Yeah.
Be interesting to... Cool.
Right, one more. Finish on a good one for us.
Okay.
Yeah, solid.
Love it.
As requested.
Right, Jacks. So to conclude, for me, TaylorMade P770, 5 iron down to pitching wedge.
Sure.
Dynamic Gold Mid 115 S300 as a shaft. 5, 6 and 7 will all play an inch longer than standard. 8 iron will play an inch and a quarter long. 9 and wedge will both play an inch and a half long. So they'll just get progressively longer as they get a little bit shorter for you.
So to speak.
As far as lie angle goes, you're going to be a degree upright throughout the set. We'll flatten off a wee touch in the wedges just on the basis they're getting longer, so the club will naturally play a little bit more upright for you. And then the grip we selected, there's the Golf Pride Tour Velvet 360 mid-size. And that'd be you, buddy.
Fantastic.
Thank you for coming along.
Not at all. An absolute pleasure, and thanks very much for taking so much time. I'll report back on the the results when I next go out.
Thank you everybody for watching. If you'd like to book your own iron fitting, head over to the website at sggt.co.uk, and it'd be great to have you in the studio at some point. For more great content, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel for more videos coming soon. Thanks.